And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to the Smith and Rowland podcast. Today, brought to you and sponsored by Ink Pen.
Ink Pen. Boy, that's wonderful. I mean, I just felt something.
Ink pens around the world.
Yeah. I mean, do you realize
Of
how
every
many
kind.
ink pens there are?
I just
out
think
there?
about that.
And they're sponsoring us.
Every bit of them. They've endorsed the Smith and Rowland
That's
show.
just amazing. It's
What do you
just-
say?
Well,
It's,
many ink pens.
everybody wants a piece of the Smith
Smith and
Rowland.
Rose. That's exactly right. We're terrible.
How are you?
I'm good, Roland. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Roland, I had some things didn't quite go my way yesterday.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I was worried. We
yeah,
knew it was coming, though. I mean, basically, they say the polls were wrong. The only thing the polls was basically wrong about is they thought that the polls showed it was going to be closer than what it actually
Oh,
was.
my gosh.
The Democrats won all of basically everything. They won everything, even down to the down ballots on some of the judges in the local
lost it all.
municipalities. Yeah, all of that. Yeah, it was all Democrat. But it is concerning, and we need to.
Well, no, it just
Talk a little
means
bit
that
about
it just, it reminds me, Jeff, that, really and truly, by all biblical definitions, I thought it was gone, but it appears Sodom and Gomorrah's with us, rises again.
Yeah, Babylon is with us.
Babylon's with us.
Did you ever think first that you would live growing up as we did? Did you ever think that our nation would ever have a professing communist? He says he's a socialist. I find very little difference in
Everything he's saying
communism and
is
socialism. Yeah. But nonetheless, there is some difference. I know there is some difference between socialism and communism. But he's basically a communist. Did you ever think you'd see a communist to lead in our nation?
It's just
we used to fight against it.
It's just a matter of degrees, Jeff. It's first you're a socialist, and then as it progresses on in to communism. So one same, but one precedes the other. Everybody thinks socialism, and then you get into communism is just an extreme form, I guess you could say, of socialism.
Yeah, that's right.
Ideology.
That's exactly right. But it brings up something. You and I was talking this morning about people on the far right, people on the far left, and in terms of that, I'd love for you to kind of say what you said this morning. Then I'd like to respond to it just a little bit. Yeah.
What we were talking about this morning was you have what we considered moderates, were those that were in the middle. And it just so happens Donald Trump calls himself a moderate. And most everybody would disagree with that. But and then you have the right, conservative right. Then you got the conservative, and you got the right, and then you got the conservative right, and you got the far right, and then you got the left, the liberal, and then you got the far left, let's say. Usually that's thought upon as a continuum of a straight line, Jeff. You know what I'm saying? Just a horizontal line. And but what I was suggesting this morning, it's more like a globe because it goes around the globe, but it's more like a circle.
Yeah. You
can have, let's say at 12 o'clock, we got a moderate. As you go to the right, say you got 3 o'clock, I would call it a conservative right. 9 o'clock, I would call it a liberal, far left. Now, but as the liberal keeps getting more left and the right keeps getting more right, they're both going to run into each other at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right.
It's more of a circle than it is a continuing straight line.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what we're finding, and you and I were talking about, there's not much difference in the far right and far left because you got Nick Fuentes, and what he's saying is, he thinks Hitler's cool.
Yeah, and he denies the Holocaust. Yeah. And he thinks that it's okay.
That's far left.
It's okay to hate the Jews.
Yeah.
So they have what we're saying is the far progressive left and the far right have commonalities in issues.
That's right.
and I would say it's showing up politically and theologically. Mm-hmm. So you have this political ideology that says that the Jews are don't belong in their land, they have no right to their land and whatnot, and we've heard on the far right the Tucker Carlsons say that Hamas and he's at least supported someone on his podcast and did not go back at it.
Didn't give it any pushback at all.
No, he didn't push back at all on what his guest was saying concerning Hamas just being freedom fighters. Mm-hmm. They wasn't terrorists. So I would say that is in support of Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, all of that. So on the progressive left, you have the same kind of ideology working. That they're pro-Palestinian. They're saying, they're chanting from the river to the sea, all of those type things. And the argument has never been, I'll keep saying this, that the Palestinian cause is not after the land. They will just want to kill the Jews. The far right goes so far right as to say Hitler was right. Okay, so that being said, they have commonalities there. The progressive left and the far right are joined in that type of thinking. So from a political standpoint, you're in support of terrorism. I would say that theologically, when you preach replacement theology, that the church has replaced Israel, God no longer has a plan for Israel, all of the Jews are no longer God's chosen people, all of those things, I would equate that to spiritual terrorism.
Correct.
I think that's what it is. So there is a common theme then from the political world and the spiritual world, and both are linked by them being under a spirit of terrorism, spouting policies that's designed to produce fear, and to produce hatred, and to produce a killing, a murdering, a martyring of the Jewish people in the state of Israel. So you have that on the progressive left and the progressive right. So then in the largest city in America, you have a communist who in his victory speech said this, "I'm young." By the way, he's never had a job. I don't know if anybody knows that. He was a camp counselor. He went from camp counselor to a state legislator to now mayor of the largest city in America. So here's what he said. He said, "I'm young, I'm a Muslim, and I'm a socialist, and I'm not apologizing for those things." So, I mean, that's out there. What communism is being I remember when back in the day when, we went to war in Vietnam to defeat communism. And then we had the Cold War with Russia. And I heard people say that after that, don't get too far out, because communism is just cloaked. It's just went underground. It's going to come back. Well, here it's coming back. It's coming back in the name of democratic socialism, to which Bernie Sanders claims to be, AOC claims to be. And they are running the Democrat Party. They are the voices and the face of the Democrat Party. So you are basically aligning yourself with communism if you align yourself there. What Mamdani said early on in the campaign that drew some media attention was that he did not think Hamas should disarm. And if Bibi Netanyahu come in New York City, he would have him arrested. So that tells you how, from a political standpoint, if you preach a theological view, it has power. It has influence. Words have power. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So you preach this stuff and you see it manifested in ways like what we seen last night. We just lost the biggest city in America. The financial hub of America is now under communist control. Now you can say, well, there's a difference in the federal government. We've been making we've been making every excuse in the world to turn a blind eye to this stuff. to protect us in being silent.
Correct.
That's all that's been going on. So progressively, it's all been unfolding, and now we have this ginormous manifestation. We actually had an attorney general from the state of Virginia who sent out a text fantasizing about taking a gun and shooting a Republican lawmaker in the head while his children watched, and then shooting his children. And that guy got reelected to office last night.
You're kidding.
In the state of Virginia, Jay Johnson. I'm saying that that's where we're at. Now, when Trump got elected, praise God, hallelujah, things, oh boy, everybody came to their senses. No, they didn't. Mm-hmm. They didn't. The Democrat Party did not come to the center. They have no intention of setting down and discussing issues. They have no intention of that. That's why the government's shut down, mm-hmm. because they have no intention of giving up their agenda. I'm saying that what happened last night is worse than if Kamala Harris had been elected president of the United States.
Wow.
I personally believe that.
Wow.
It sets the stage for a lot of things.
Wow.
What say you, Mr. Smith?
Well, I don't know. I'm nauseated after that. Wow. That's, I can't, the Kamala, hot tamale.
Yeah, hot tamale.
This being worse than if she was.
I believe it is.
Wow, that one, set my clock back. Only thing I can say is, Jeff, if you want to know the spiritual climate of New York City, there it is.
Yeah.
What this stuff is doing us is showing us the spiritual climate of these cities, and they're more. Well, the truth, even in presidential elections or whatever, the races are way too close for my liking. Yes, Trump went in. We say he went in with a landslide, but I'm like, well, I don't know what land y'all been on, but
that was,
you know what I'm saying. I don't know what. This wasn't a landslide.
He won a landslide of the states, but by a slim margin in every state.
In every state, and so I'm just like, I think we kind of squeaked our own in.
Yeah.
And but yes, you know what I'm saying. That's not near big enough margins to tell me about the American people, and so therefore, if you're basically 50-50, the right versus the left. Now our right is fragmenting, and we've lost candidates.
And
we've lost Tucker Carlson. We lost Prager.
Yeah.
Prager. We lost Prager. He's paralyzed from.
Yeah.
We've lost Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Now we lost Jordan Peterson almost.
Yeah.
We're not sure he's going to live.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
all
for
the
spiritual.
Big voices.
Well, I mean, the thing that was holding, there were big players in the healthy right.
Yeah.
I'm going to call us the healthy right and the unhealthy right. What was holding the healthy right together, we've lost 6 major players. And as far as I'm concerned, Candace and Tucker are both is the same thing happened to them that happened to Charlie Kirk, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
They've all, their influence and what's got hold of them is well, it's worse. It's worse than what happened to Charlie, because you're making such a mess of if anybody can shut down, if she really loved Charlie Kirk as a friend, my question is, why in the world is she shutting down Turning Point with all these accusations?
Yeah.
And Jeff, we like to think that accusations we're going to be tough. Accusations kill.
They absolutely destroy.
They destroy.
They destroy. Right. And they don't have to be true to do it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. This seems so obviously plain to me. I get frustrated because no one sees the obvious. Mm-hmm. And so this replacement thing is so huge. And in the theological circles and in the church world, just consider something. The guy that took Charlie Kirk out was dating a transgender.
Mm-hmm.
8 out of the last 10 mass shootings up to Charlie Kirk's assassination was done by the LGBTQ plus community.
Mm-hmm.
I got a text from a guy yesterday who was sitting in a Baptist church somewhere on business. He was doing business there. And he said there was a rainbow flag there and a sign in the foyer welcoming and affirming church, reaching out to the LGBTQ community saying, come on in, we will affirm you where you are.
What denomination?
It was Baptist.
Baptist.
And so
we're moving on up.
Well, and here's my thing. In the theological world, the LGBTQ plus crowd is the terrorist group or the terrorist arm that is being fueled by replacement preaching. You start replacing the church replaced Israel, and psychology replaces the Bible, and suddenly your own moral compass replaces the very law of God. So it's all based on this replacement idea. All right, you get to that, and then in the political world, you say, okay, Israel's the source of all the trouble in the Middle East, and yeah, we don't believe Hamas should be disarmed. We're worth the Palestinians here. All right, so fueling around that are the accusations, the slander, the criticism of those that's speaking any kind of truth. And the slander and the accusations and the criticism has a cumulative effect. And as that effect grows, then no longer are people taken seriously. Donald Trump's not taken seriously by no one. And
except
it doesn't
the rest
matter.
Of the world.
The other nations, the world loves him. But it doesn't matter what he does. He said this. He said, look, I could cure cancer, and still they're going to hate me. He couldn't have been more right. He's exactly right. And that's what slander and accusations and criticism does. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to kill the influence, to kill the testimony, to kill the proclamation or the ministry of whoever you're criticizing. So Candace Owens is throwing all of this mud at Turning Point USA. Why? Because she hates Israel. And she does not care who she has to crucify on her path toward doing that.
She didn't 3 years ago.
No, but she...
Or two, probably.
No, but she got in the theological world, and she embraced that replacement ideology, and that translates into the political world of a Mondani.
Well, I think of our problems, Jeff, is just like with Tucker. I mean, Tucker's a journalist. John Rich is a country music singer. Is it John Rich? Yeah, it's a country music singer. They're not theologians. They know just a little bit of a Bible, maybe, but yet they have decided that they are going to have a persuasion theologically, and I think are out of line. I mean, Jeff, I don't need to get on a podcast and talk about brain surgery.
No.
I'm not versed in it. I don't need to do that. I mean, come on, somebody.
No.
But all of a sudden, you got a little bit of a following, and you got and the reason I'm saying this is pride is a spiritual. Pride is the degeneration of the human spirit. Pride will destroy you.
Yeah.
And pride comes from the dark side. And so the enemy will use your pride to make you think you're a theologian, or you know Bible, or you know Jesus. Listen, Nick Fuentes, I just heard him today. He's all about Jesus Christ in America.
Or so he says, yeah.
I'm sorry, that's a false prophet.
Yeah, it's false.
Because nothing in his life has any of the fruit
That's right.
of a Christian.
That's right.
Now, all of these people, for some reason, they think it's cool to say you're Christian. The only problem is you got to have the fruit of a Christian. And so many of these people that are declaring it. Now, the far right, I mean, it's it continually, I all I can see is wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting real live, on time, live. A lot of people have slandered others with being a false prophet or being a wolf in sheep's clothing or whatever. I think we got some real ones now.
Yeah, we finally reached the point of real manifestation of true warfare.
I think
there's no doubt about that part.
No doubt.
And I think weakness behind the pulpit will continuously fuel and feed into this as we go. Weak stands among real believers, or at least real professing believers. But, Alan, there's all kinds of elements of discussion we can go off.
Of course.
The wheat and the tare thing and all of the stuff that you can say. But
our basic topic is the elections.
We'll talk about the elections, but in terms of that, I don't understand why. I guarantee you, if someone asked Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens today, right now, are you for Mondani? They'd say no. They'd say absolutely not. They'd laugh about that and say absolutely not. But they have no idea how connected they are to the very issues that motivates this. Okay? Number one, Mondani is a Muslim. Now, everybody in the center right saying, oh, leave that alone. Just leave that part alone. Okay, I'll leave that part alone, even though I think that in America, there should not be a Muslim that is anti-Semitic. I don't see how he can be a leader in this democratic constitutional republic that we have, even in a state. I just don't see how that can happen. So we have this big influx of the Muslim faith in America, simply based on the fact we've had open borders so long that we've invited that in. Okay, cool. Let's bring them in because you've talked before. I believe the founders was in support of freedom of religion because they knew the power of the gospel was greater than any other power. However, we have basically said, let's invite in a bunch of false teachers and bring them in. To think that Mondani is not going to function or govern in New York City, to think he's not going to govern out of his Muslim faith is completely insane. So we have these densely populated cities, New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, Portland, these densely populated cities that eventually they're going to run the nation. And that they're filled with progressive left and far right-leaning lunatics.
You used the L word.
And yeah, they're lunatics. I mean, if Tucker Carlson can call me a heretic, I think I ought to be allowed to call him a lunatic. A tick's a tick.
A tick's a tick.
I mean, same thing.
We got one of our famous listeners that doesn't like us calling people lunatics.
Yeah, well.
Oh, there you go. It's been said.
This article was written prior to the election, but it talks about Generation Zoran and says, how does a 33-year-old lifelong do-nothing, a person who has never held a real job, never suffered a true challenge, been handed everything on a silver platter, turn into a mayoral front-runner in New York City now that we know he won the race? How does a self-described socialist who despises capitalism become the leading candidate for the mayor's office of the world's financial capital? How does a man who nods at globalize the intifada and refuses to say Hamas should disarm, all while complaining that the real victim of 9/11 was a distant relative who was allegedly given an ugly stare by a fellow subway rider, become the most likely next mayor of the city in which 9/11 occurred? The answer is simple and obvious. Zoran Mamdani represents a solid movement within Generation Z. In the latest Suffolk poll, which has Mondani leading, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, 44% to 34%, and Avery gave us the stats on what the vote tally actually came out to be. Mondani trails among voters aged 45 and up. He runs ahead 23 points among those aged 35 to 44. Wow. But among voters aged 18 to 34, Mondani runs ahead by an astonishing 61 points, and that's about
and that's who Charlie Kirk was speaking into.
Yeah. Says that isn't a coincidence. It's a reality. It's not. So can we just pause to say this? So we have this revival going on.
Mm-hmm.
But those that are not touched by the revival, this is what they're flocking to.
Right.
What does that tell us about the means of this warfare? Think about this for a minute. Those that are not flocking to the move of the Spirit is flocking to the move of the political winds.
Mm-hmm.
How can we who walk in the Spirit not warn them of their political errors? How can you make sense?
Do you not think it's somewhat futile unless you tell them you must be born again?
Absolutely.
Because
that's the starting point.
The response in New York City is what you would look for to be response out of a bunch of lost people. They don't know Christ.
They don't know Jesus.
They don't know Jesus.
They've never trusted Jesus.
And they don't have the Holy Ghost inside of them to halfway think with some sense. So it just tells us, if you want a barometer, if you want to check the oil like in an engine, if you want to see where the lost versus saved are, and people would say, well, Alan, that's not true. There's people on both sides. The only thing I can tell you, if I was in Ocean Liner, I wouldn't say I want all the Democrats killed on one side and everybody that fear God on the other.
Yeah.
Because you're going to flip it over.
Well, I think it's safe to say this. This article points out that 62%, Alan, think of this, 62% of Americans aged 18 to 29 say that they are favorable towards socialism.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
So here's what we have. We no longer have a Democrat Party. And we are fragmenting on the right, just like you say. Mm-hmm. We're getting close to not having a Republican Party.
It's fragmenting fast.
Because those on the far progressive left, they already own the Democrat Party. Just period. Chuck Schumer and some of the aged Democrats that used to be classic Democrats are bowing to the pressure of those on the progressive left. There's too much evidence of that.
I can't believe it.
If the right fragments to the point that the Republican sane people bow to the lunacy of those on the far right, we're going to lose the Republican Party. And we're going to be down to a socialistic form of government that will replace capitalism, and we will have no constitution left.
Mm-hmm. No, that's right. Well, it's looking like, in the distant future, next 10 years to be, there again, it sounds impossible, but there again, I'm not so sure anything but the revival to continue to grow that came with Charlie Kirk is our only hope. But then, unless you be born again, if you try to deal with people based on their soul and their mind and the reason of the human mind without people being born again, if you're going to invest dollars to try to change this country, how do you do it? You must be born again. I can't get away from it, Jeff. I mean, if you're trying to talk people, okay, I'm going to talk you into something, okay? I'm going to give you free transportation, free groceries, and a place to live, and you won't have to work. Versus, okay, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm going to give you a job, an opportunity of a job. You're going to have to work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, or whatever. I'm going to give you good pay. I'm going to give you health insurance, good benefits, and all that. Which one do you think people's going to choose?
Oh, yeah, they're going to choose the free stuff.
They're going to choose the free stuff. So my point is, I know it's very simplistic, but my point is we're dealing with the fallen nature of man, of humanity. Water runs downhill. The least resistance is where most humans run to.
Yeah.
The only thing that keeps you from running there is the Holy Spirit within you that gives you a certain amount of integrity, a certain amount of conviction, a certain amount of let's do what's right ideology. And without that, I think it's totally hopeless. So to me, the church is our only hope.
Yeah.
Now,
It
Jeff,
basically is.
the church is our only hope. Now, anybody knows, let's take our CIA. We know that it's been compromised. We know it's been infiltrated. But now there's good people there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's also, we got a bunch of moles there. It's been compromised.
So's the FBI.
So is the FBI.
So's the IRS.
So is the IRS. And so is the American church.
Without a doubt. There's no doubt.
Eric Metaxas came out with a book, which I recommend everybody to read it. We both do. It was a letter to the American church. You remember that book?
Oh, yeah.
And I think they made a movie out of it also. And I think we'll have Eric Metaxas on the podcast here one of these days.
I hope so.
And but Eric Metaxas, I think, has been given a word to the American church. And I think what we're seeing, I get upset with New York, and I get upset with New York's doing what New Yorkers do that are lost. They just did what do you do? And I've got another friend of mine, David Englehart, that has a church down on the town, New York City. And they have incredible services, and people from all over New York City come to them. And so we have a faction of the Holy Spirit there, and but we can see that, I don't know how else to say it. It looks like to me, I don't want to curse it, but it looks like to me we have seen, somebody needs to report, New York City has fallen.
Well, it has fallen. And here's the hard lesson that goes along with it a little bit. So everybody will be thinking, well, that's New York City. I don't live in New York City. I'm in North Carolina. Doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I'm not going to go. I've heard people say, I've never lost nothing in New York, and I ain't going up there. Here's the problem. So the city falls because of bad policy. We're going to see it happen if he gets his way, and the city will it's going to unravel. All right, who do you think's going to pay the bill? That's coming out of our pocket.
Well,
because the federal government's going to have to go in and fix everything. The wildfires in California. So, another example. How much money did the federal government pour into that? Well, the biggest reason they have the wildfires there is because the environmental agency in California won't let them take care of the underbrush to start with. So you end up losing
everything.
Billions upon billions upon billions of dollars that comes out of our pocket because of bad policy in California.
I don't know where this hit my brain right quick, maybe off topic, but we need to check and see how many houses have been rebuilt out there.
Yeah, I would be interested to know that too. I really would.
Because that was the hot spot of California. I mean, that was where the place to be. All these.
Oh yeah, it was. A lot of the Hollywood actors lost their homes and everything.
I bet you it's been confiscated.
Well, and
so to speak.
Yeah, my point is, so from a natural standpoint, it has influence on our lives, what they do. From a political standpoint, it has influence on our lives. From a spiritual standpoint, this is going to have influence on our nation.
Yeah, no doubt.
You're not going to escape it. Just because you don't live there does not mean that this is not going to affect you.
It's too big of a city. It has too much influence.
Yeah.
It has way too. And the thing about the influence of New York City, it has old time influence.
Yeah.
You got new influencers on podcasts, barely old enough, can't even got the driver's license yet. But this is old time influence.
Yeah.
That comes out of New York City.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine. Listen, the math always works. If you're going to give away everything, and tax those that are making anything, you're going to run everybody out of the city that's making anything.
That's right.
And the only thing that's going to leave you are those that want something for nothing.
That's right.
And you're going to run out of money.
That you can no longer supply.
It's not sustainable.
It cannot be sustainable.
And everybody knows it's not sustainable.
It's never been. There's never been in the history of the world
it's just not
a sustainable model of this type of socialism.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot happen. So I say it affects everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to affect the rancher in Wyoming.
It's going
to affect the farmer in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to affect the truck driver that drives. It's going to affect everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Our tax dollars is going to go to bail them out of bad policy because of the will of people that will not hear the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I think there has to be a cutoff.
Yeah. Well, we're at a new era. We're at a new time.
We're at a new place in this warfare.
We've never seen it like this before. And on all fronts, I'm so glad Trump's president. I just don't know what to do.
Too.
But at the same time, the enemy is not taking it laying down.
No, all of this is being played out in Generation Z.
Wow.
Think of it.
Think of
the
that.
Revival and the counter revival.
That's right, Jeff. Yeah. Wow. Generation Z.
Generation
we need to be
Z.
praying for Generation Z.
Absolutely.
And I pray that the strongest evangelist the world has ever known will come out of Generation Z.
Yeah, and just like the millennials blames and accuses the boomers of not handing down properly whatever they wanted to be in, apparently the millennials didn't do a good job with the generation behind them either. Or we wouldn't be stuck with a communist in New York City.
Well, there you go. That's the way it is on Smith and Rowland.
That's exactly right.
But we're going to pray for everybody. And I don't know, for some reason I'm mourning for New York City. I just feel
the state of Virginia.
And the state of Virginia. Yeah. It's like I'm in mourning. I'm really trying to be a little upbeat about it, but I just discovered right here on the Smith and Rowland show that Smith is in mourning.
It's just because you've been around me. Go ahead and accuse me.
I'm mourned right on up with you. That's right. There you go, big shoulders. Yeah. All right, Rolly. We'll pick it up again here tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have a victory speech
to talk about
from Rowland to talk about.
That sounds good.
All right.